name is Jacob, and you're watching my show about literature. And only literature. After examining the lives of Dr. Joseph Bell and Sir Henry Littlejohn, we begin to see a distinct pattern in the way that Doyle was influenced to create Sherlock Holmes. They were both brilliant men who used their abilities to fight crime. Francois Eugene Vidocq is no exception to this rule. He possessed a keen intellect which far surpassed the talents of his colleagues, and although he was not a contemporary of Doyle as Dr. Joseph Bell and Sir Henry Littlejohn were, his legendary status as a crime fighter permeated the public consciousness even after his death, thanks to the success of his extraordinary achievements and the massive proliferation of his personal memoirs. Vidocq's life was an incredible tale of intrigue and mystery in itself. From his earliest days, he was the model of a juvenile delinquent and a kleptomaniac. He was described as a wild and unruly child who stole on a constant basis, not for the sake of necessity, but for the sheer pleasure of stealing. Eventually, his thieving became so bad that his own father had him arrested and sent to jail in order to teach him a lesson. And obviously, it failed to make an impression. Vidocq spent a great deal of his life in and out of prison with multiple convictions for numerous crimes. Fortunately for him, he eventually made the decision to work as an informant for the police while incarcerated, and earned his way out. His degenerate skills as a criminal proved to be extremely effective at catching other criminals. As the old saying goes, sometimes it takes a thief to catch a thief. After his release from prison, Vidocq established himself as the world's first private detective, and also founded the French Secret Police, which was a collection of individuals, not unlike himself, who collected information on criminal plots and made subsequent arrests. He became a household name for his abilities to solve crimes that were said to be unsolvable. The most obvious parallel between Vidocq and Sherlock Holmes is their skill of analysis. Vidocq was said to have a photographic memory and could readily recall any face that he had seen before. He even made it a point to visit prisons just to see the faces of those who resided within, knowing full well the likelihood of their becoming repeat offenders. In addition to this, Vidocq kept an extensive catalog of criminals that he had previously encountered, which contained a picture and a record of their criminal habits. In the same way, Holmes is able to recall even the most obscure details of cases that he had either worked on or read about, and was intimately familiar with the goings-on of London and world affairs. He also keeps a catalog of very obscure details about geology, chemistry, and so on and so forth. Holmes also has his own informant network through the Baker Street Boys and other individuals in order to keep him up to date and on top of any situation. In an interesting twist, Doyle appears to have divided Vidocq into two halves: Vidocq the criminal mastermind, and Vidocq the crime-solving genius. They appear in his stories as Dr. Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes respectively, and represent the hypothetical question of what would happen if Holmes had turned to crime instead of justice. We find out the answer to this very question in The Final Problem, where we discover that a great deal of the crimes committed in England and elsewhere were initiated by Dr. Moriarty. He acts as Holmes' doppelganger by hatching nefarious plots, which Holmes, in turn, attempts to stifle. I won't ruin that particular story, because it's just that entertaining, but I will recommend that you pick it up if you ever have the chance. It's not a very long tale, and you can probably finish it in one sitting. And believe me, you won't be sitting down for very long when you do. Thanks for watching. As always, if you like what you see, please don't forget to like and subscribe. By the way, what's your favorite Sherlock Holmes story? Mine definitely has to be a tie between The Solitary Cyclist and The Final Problem. Really good stuff. Anyways, Tune in next time as we take a look at Edgar Allan Poe's Detective Dupin and see how he measures up against Sherlock Holmes. Peace!